Hello and welcome to cookbookslive.com. I'm Stephen Fries, your host. The cookbook that I'd like to bring to life today is called Heirloom Cooking by the Brass Sisters. And this is their their second cookbook. Their first one was called Heirloom Baking, which was nominated for a James Beard Award. Marilynn and Sheila Brass are the guardians of the universal tradition of home-cooked meals, and they believe that home-cooked meals are those cherished dishes that are just born out of family histories. The sisters have spent a lifetime of scouring yard sales, used bookstores, flea markets, actually something very similar to what I do, to collect these beautiful old heirloom recipes. And the loose handwritten recipes they call are living recipes. They have over 6,500 cookbooks. It's a lot more than I have. I thought my couple of thousand was a lot, but 6,500 cookbooks. And they also have about 1,500 books on antiques and on culinary history. They have a collection of over 2,000 molds and pieces of kitchenware. And some of the photos of those pieces of antique kitchenware are shown in the book. And a little later on, I will be showing you one of those as well. This book actually contains 135 of the best recipes of their collection. And they represent over 100 years of delicious meals that they've updated for modern kitchen use. The recipes in the book come from all over the United States and Canada and represent many, many different styles of cooking. What I enjoy actually about this book are the wonderful stories that are given about the families that have created the recipes. And we'll take a look at one or two of those as well. And the Brass Sisters believe that the creator of the recipe is actually just as important, or sometimes not more important, than the recipe itself. They say that each recipe is like a mini biography, so to speak. And they're easy to make recipes in the book. Most of the ingredients, or all the ingredients, are probably something that's sitting in your pantry and refrigerator. The photography in the book is super. It shows images of the original recipe, which I find to be the most interesting part about these books, that show the old handwriting, and you can tell it was written by somebody perhaps came in from Europe. The pictures in the book of the sisters' collection of antique kitchenware is intriguing as well. Now I'd like to show you a few of the pictures that I thought were interesting in the book. And I'm going to turn to page 121. And let's first have you take a look at the original recipe book, and then you'll see the printed version of it for better readability for the reader of the cookbook. And this is for baked bean soup, and it's actually a recipe from the 1920s. So I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from this recipe for you. Again, what I like is the story about the recipe. And they wrote, "We found this recipe in a darling little book designed and illustrated by Louise Perret called Recipes, My Friends and My Own. It was created to record handwritten recipes. This soup is very satisfying on a cold winter day. It's also simple to prepare and make a speedy, comforting bowl. The crumbled bacon and sour cream provide a hearty garnish." And one of the tips and touches that the Brass Sisters give is, they wrote, "We use pork and beans and tomato sauce for our soup." So that's one of the items that I wanted to share with you from the book. The next one that I'd like to show you is found on page 190, and this is a recipe from the Sisters family. And this is a recipe for veal chops. In a moment, I will read some interesting excerpts about this recipe as well. Again, it's the little history behind the recipe that really brings this book to life. It really gives an interesting background to why and how this recipe was created. Both Grandma Katzif and our mother used this recipe for Creole veal chops. Since Mama and Grandma Katzif shared a kitchen for 5 years, the recipe went back and forth between them, with each one adding her own touch. In our family, Creole meant using tomato ketchup as a sauce. No one ever traveled to Louisiana as far as we knew. So we invented our own version of Creole cooking. You'll have to use 2 frying pans or a large Dutch oven for this recipe. So again, you could see that they put their little spin on what Creole cooking is by using something that we never would have thought of being Creole, tomato ketchup. The next item that I want to show you on page 245 is actually showing one of the sisters' antique pieces of kitchenware. And this picture is of a traveling tea set from the early 20th century. Pictures like this are scattered throughout the book. Again, adding a little history to what the culinary arts has really evolved into. And then one other page that I want to share with you is on page 286. And this is the handwritten recipe cards, and I myself, as many of you know, have a collection of thousands of these recipe cards as well. Some wonderful photography of these dating way back to the early 1900s and beyond. And in the back of the book there's actually a keepsake envelope that will hopefully encourage you to start collecting your own heirloom recipes. As the Brass sisters say, we're 2 slightly roundish women who are home cooks, who believe that the main thing with home cooking is simply to have fun. From the Delia Viking Center of the Northeast, I'm Stephen Fries for cookbookslive.com. Until the next time, bon appetit.